So I love building in Minecraft, but the problem is I always have to go out and gather a bunch of materials, and I'm a little sick of it. This episode we're heading back to the factory district one last time to automate everything I'd possibly ever want. Oh, okay, we can finally start this thing. My god, that took so long. I spent a lot more time than I thought I would gathering resources for this thing, which is honestly another reason why it's so important that I build it now. Also, my Tom Simple storage mod broke, for some reason, so I had to fix that, which also took a while. It's been a long day. Now we can finally get to the fun stuff. So we're going to be making a ton of factories, and I think a good place to start is a control board. Now I don't have access to create 0.6, which is kind of a shame because control boards became really easy with create 0.6. And the thing is, I was actually gonna wait, but then I thought it's probably gonna be a while until I'm able to actually update. And also the major advantage of the new create update is crafting. It automates crafting. So I thought it'd be a good idea to just automate like every single raw material. And then until I get access to create 0.6, I can just manually do the crafting I need. So I have a massive list of items that I want to automate by the end of this episode, and I think I'll probably do a voiceover for this part. So I'm not gonna lie, I initially had a vision for this part, but I've kind of completely forgotten. So I'm just gonna give a quick summary. By the end of this episode, I want to automate over 20 new items. And of these, some will be incredibly useful, and others are just kind of like byproducts of other items. The ultimate goal here is to automate most of the more aesthetic looking stones that are used for building, and then I can combine that with the wood farm to basically build whatever the hell I want. So the plan is we're gonna make like a create 0.6 circuit board, but without create 0.6. We're gonna use redstone links like this, and we're gonna scatter them around the place. Obviously it's gonna be a little bit more organized than this, and then we're gonna have levers on each one of these, and they're each gonna correlate to a different factory. And they're going to be like in sequence. So let's say this is cobblestone, this might be gravel because it comes from cobblestone, this could be sand because it comes from gravel, this could be soul sand because it comes from sand. You get the point. Okay, I haven't really designed this properly yet, so this could cause some headaches, but I think we can make it work. And then also I'm going to link everything else in my factory to this board as well. So we're going to link the tree farm, we're gonna link the diamond farm, we're gonna link all that good stuff together. So I have full control over everything. And the idea behind this obviously is if I don't need it, I can turn it off and it will prevent unnecessary lag, which honestly in some ways might even be better than the create 0.6 board because it's harder to turn that one off. I don't know, I'm just coping real hard. I really want create 0.6. Before we get started though, I'm just gonna fill this area in with stone, and we're gonna terraform the side a little bit so it looks a bit nicer because right now it's kind of floating. Right, okay, so I think it makes sense to start with the farms that I've already built. Now, we're not going to do the ore farm because that one works off of cobblestone, but the tree farm and the diamond factory work independently of the cobblestone generator. I think. Wait, do they? They do, right? Yes, because the diamonds are just from the wood. Okay. Design and decor has these, like, yeah, these things, signs. Okay, and I think it'd be nice to use these little arrows. Okay, the tree and diamond farm is a good example to start with because it's very simple. So my idea for this thing was we're gonna have redstone links like this. Then we're gonna have like a switch here. And then I'm gonna use these signs, right? Like this, and then like this, and then like this. Right, okay, so we want something like this. And what we're then gonna do is we're gonna get some clutches and we're gonna link them up to these farms. Log. So now that means right now the tree farm should be off. And yes, it is. Everything is stationary. And then when I flip this lever right here on, boop. Yeah, look at that. I already see it spinning. Nice. Okay, so that works. Let me make sure the bottom level works as well. Yeah, this is all working fine. Okay, now let's do the diamond farm. And first let me track down where this thing is actually connected to. It's all connected right here, this spot right here. Okay, first things first, we want to power this thing off. So this will be powering that right now. Oh, you can actually see a little... Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that gives you an indicator. That's really useful. Okay, now it's on. Right, cool, cool. I know how to do basic redstone. I need to put this here because this is actually what takes the wood out. So this here takes 48 oak wood from the wood stash. And then I also need to find a way to power all of this stuff off, which I think shouldn't be that hard. If I slap an inverted clutch on here, that should be fine, right? On, okay. Yeah, perfect. Wow, okay, that was very simple. One thing to keep note of, obviously, is if I turn this off, this isn't gonna work. So everything in the sequence has to be turned on. My god, this is like borderline unreadable. Ah, yes, okay. No, this is fine, this is fine. I'm gonna be using a lot of stress, so I might have to create a second steam engine, finally. This entire time, I've gone this entire time, like 8 months without needing a second steam engine. Ah, yes, there we go. Wow, that was quick. Okay. I'm looking concerned about the video's length because I just spent like 3 hours on this thing. But we have most of the cobblestone section automated, which is very cool. If you take a look down here, it's a bit of a mess. Yeah, I just kind of have everything going at once. This was an absolute headache to connect up. But in the end, we have a fully working little control board here. So like, if I decide I don't want wither skulls, I don't want blackstone, I want tough, but I don't want glass. The glass has been turned off, the wither skull here has been turned off, and the blackstone, it should be off, but it's connected somewhere else. Okay, there we go. We fixed it. I will say the good thing about this factory is once I finish it, I probably won't have to automate anything ever again. Unless it's like for something really niche. Now I want to finish off the cobblestone branch, but I've run into a bit of a problem. Gravel can turn into calcite, and then calcite turns into dripstone and to diorite, and then diorite turns into granite. So this is really useful, but it requires bone meal, and I don't currently have a way of automating bone meal. Thankfully, I have like 1 million seeds in my storage, and also I have like the train that is delivering the stock from the farm, so that will also transfer a bunch of seeds. I think I'm just gonna have a little bone meal switch somewhere on here. Maybe we can put it like next to the calcite if there's room. Nice. Okay, and then essentially what's gonna happen if I flip this switch is we're gonna start pumping seeds from our storage unit, and then they're gonna go over here and they're gonna turn into bone meal. So we should set that up first. And then I want this to be going the opposite way, so if I put a gearbox here, it should just work. Nice. How do I want to do this though is the big question. Like this, probably. Like this. Like this. No. Should all just work, hopefully, please. Whoa. What the fuck? Put the seeds here. They go in here. Yeah, they come out bone meal. Nice. Okay. Bam. Bam. Okay. Right. Boom. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's been a few days now. I'm not too sure how completed this thing was when I left off because a lot of the footage was kind of unusable. My original plan was just to record everything on replay mode, but then like I realized like a lot of the stuff I was doing was underground, like there's a lot of stuff that goes on here. And then also like I was stopping every 2 seconds because I needed to fix a problem. It's been a lot of troubleshooting the past few days. And the entire time I wasn't really speaking because I was just kind of annoyed, so it was just silent footage of me trying to fix stupid problems. So I thought it'd probably be best for me to just explain everything new. First things first, this cobblestone branch is completely done, thank God. All these machines on here are now working with the exception of, there's one, the granite. And the reason the granite doesn't work yet is because the granite recipe requires quartz. It's fine because we will get quartz from limestone, which is one of the blocks that we can automate. So once we have that, we can just hook it up to this, and I've actually gone ahead and already placed down a mechanical arm. So this thing is ready. If I just show you over here real quick. So you need flint to make calcite. So I have this little thing here hooked up to the calcite generator, and this is basically extracting flint from our main conveyor belt. We get flint when we crush gravel into sand, so I'm just extracting some of that flint here. We're gonna do the same thing with quartz, so this is literally already like prepared once I have the quartz here. But yeah, that's all well and good. This all looks very complicated, and I guess to be honest it kind of is. This is the cobblestone that goes into our ore farm, the thing that we built in the second episode, and that has its own conveyor belt. But everything else is being funneled onto the main conveyor belt there. This comes all the way down, right down to over here, where it then goes into our storage system. And I also had a problem with the storage system. I had to redo this thing completely. Cobblestone was by far the most complicated one. The next most complicated one I think is basalt. Okay, I think we're gonna do the limestone now. Can I put this? Oh, I can. Okay. Like, what if I just straight up had them, like, right here? That could work. What we're gonna do is we're gonna connect this up like this. That's a basin. I always get basins confused with chutes. Here, and then turn this on. And then I need a pair of crushing wheels here. So, I made these into limestone crushing wheels, but they're not even gonna be visible. That's so sad. And I also need, more importantly, a way to toggle these on and on. On and off. On and on. Oh, get me out. Get me out. Something like this, and then like this. Perfect. Okay, and hopefully this is going the right way. If it's not, I might cry. Please. Oh, that looks wrong. Yeah, that's not right. Okay. Okay. Kind of a weird way of doing it, but it works. We got there in the end. That means if we power this off, it's gonna turn off the crushing wheels, which will stop the formation of quartz and lapis. Perfect. Okay, so everything is officially done now. I thought I would just quickly run through and explain everything that I've just built real quick, just for the people who maybe want to build something similar. I know a lot of people do watch my survival series for inspiration, so if you have that, this is for you. I started with the cobble deep slate, and stone generators. These don't really make anything that useful, So I just have them directly funneled over the belt. They're turned off right now because they are super efficient. So as soon as I turn them on, they're going to start producing like a bunch of blocks. Next we have the scoria, which is being funneled into here where it's being fed down. And additionally, it's coming through to here. So when I power this on, it will get crushed by these crushing wheels and it will turn into blaze powder and blaze rods. Then I have the basalt here, which once again has a tunnel that leads straight down into the conveyor belt that leads into my storage system. You'll notice that everything over here is a lot neater as well. I made a conscious effort to do that because, dude, it's so messy over here. Anyway, it also comes out here through this conveyor belt where it's being bulk haunted into this barrel right here. And then from this barrel, it can come down here if I want netherrack. Once again, this is very efficient, so this will probably stay off most of the time. Or it comes through here, where it then splits off either to this barrel here, where the netherrack is being crushed into cinder flour, is it called? Cinder flour. Or alternatively, it comes down the belt all the way till the end, where it gets crushed into nether brick. Oh, it gets bulk heated first into nether brick, and then it turns into nether bricks. And then here, once again, I have it split, so some of it is going down into this conveyor belt, so I keep some nether brick, and the rest is coming out through this funnel where it's being crushed by these crushing wheels to make ancient debris. So that's coming out through here, and then coming out to here. There is a chute under here. It's pretty hard to see. That's about it. I'm gonna go sleep. Anyway, that's enough of this factory for now. I will come back by the end of the episode. For now, I think I need a break from looking at the scenery, so I'm gonna turn some of these farms on and go work on a new project. Okay, I call this thing the disco ball. So I was thinking while making all of these factories, right? The eventual goal, the end goal is to have resources for me at the ready when I want to build. If I want to build a massive project that requires a bunch of one specific resource, I don't want to have to go and gather it. Now, when it comes to building, there's something else that is incredibly useful, and that's dye. So I wanted a place where I can get as much dye as I possibly could ever want. That's where this comes in. So the plan is this is going to be the first like semi-automatic farm in the factory district. The plan isn't to automate every single dye because there's a lot of them, like, for example, like pink, purple, and magenta that just require some blend of blue and red dye. And if I automated all of that, it would be kind of annoying. So instead, I'm going to automate all the essential dyes, and then I'm going to have everything I need to craft all the other dyes inside this bowl. So I believe the sensible place to start is with a flower farm, just a vanilla Minecraft flower farm. So flower farms do not work in the jungle. Oh, what? When did these recipes get here? What? Okay, yeah, so maybe I installed a data pack. So what? So what? The thing is, we still need a bunch of bone meal. So this farm is still, this is still good. Holy. Yeah, I don't think my brain was working properly today because I spent the next maybe hour and a half building the flower farm without flowers, because I thought it would generate me bone meal, before finally realizing this farm doesn't work because it would consume more bone meal than it would produce. How did this not cross my head? Okay, yeah, so I'm a massive idiot. I've just ended up going with the same design that I used for my Recreate base. When I was building my base on Recreate, I needed a ton of bone blocks, so I built this bone meal farm, and it worked pretty well for me. So I just used the same design. I was originally going to design something myself, but I already have like over 15 hours of footage on this video, and I really need to just get it done at this point. So, brass funnel coming out like this. Then we just need a barrel and a brass funnel, like this. This should be connected to that. So when I pull this, it turns on. Nice. Okay. The idea now is I should be able to just make any dye I want. Say I want like red dye, for example. I can put a poppy there, bone meal there, make some poppies. Just make sure I don't use it all up. And then put the poppy through the barrel like this. And I get a bunch of red dye. This just gives me a place to keep track of all the dyes I have and then all the flowers, because I don't know the names of all the flowers, so it can be kind of annoying trying to find them in the storage system. Next, I have two projects that I am very, very excited to share with you guys. So we're coming back to this area here, and we're going to be filling this space up with something. I don't even remember what I called it. Crafting stations? I think that was it. Yeah, that sounds right. Let me assess the damage real quick. Oh, 8 pages. Okay. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Okay, let's get to work. There are certain items in the Create mod that are quite useful, but also a massive pain to make. Now, a great example of these are casings. So you have the copper casings, the andesite casings, and the brass casings. Another good example of this are blaze cakes. That's also annoying. And then you also have electron tubes are also very annoying. And to top it off, finally, probably the most annoying are the rotational speed controllers. Well, I've come up with a solution, because with these machines, I'm never gonna have to make those 6 items again. So how these work is I basically just need to add the raw materials. So for, let's say I want to make a bunch of andesite casings. All I need to do is add wood and andesite alloy, any kind of wood. Same thing with the copper. And then also the brass, so brass and wood. The electron tubes, I don't even need iron sheets or polished rose quartz. I just put in the raw iron ingots and the raw rose quartz, and then it will slowly make electron tubes. For the precision mechanisms, it's the same thing. I just need golden sheets instead of ingots, and that'll take a bit longer because I need to go through the process like 5 times. Finally, you have the blaze cakes, where I just need to put in cinderflower, eggs, and sugar, and it will spit out some nicely completed blaze cakes. But now the problem is it gets kind of annoying running from over here to over there, right? My storage system is over here. I don't really want to gather the materials from here, run all the way to the vending machines, make the stuff, and then come back and dump it all in here. That feels like a really long and unnecessary process. I think we're due for an upgrade. So just a quick tour. Starting over here, we have the mechanical crafter with a button here, and then we have our 3 things that require heated blaze burners. We then have our liquids over here. I have this little rolling mill for electricity and for straws. I have a mechanical saw here, brewing stand, and an atom drain if I ever need to drain anything. Here I have a deployer and a hydraulic press. Now this thing is amazing because it does stacks at a time. I didn't even know this thing existed, to be honest. Now, this can be kind of intimidating, but it's actually not that bad. This recipe is pretty easy. Rubber is just basically made from wood. And then you have bronze here, which is made with tin, I believe. Yes. Here we have, this is our little mechanical press over a basin. We have our little cutter thing, and we have our mixer. This is our crushing wheel setup. So we put the stuff at the top, and then it gets crushed and it comes out here. We have a little energizer here if I want to do anything new age related. I have a little stressometer here. I did have to build another steam engine because I ran out of stress. And then here we have our bulk washing and smoking and haunting and etc. Very excited to start using this thing. It'll be a lot more convenient than the mess we have over there. Okay, now that the netherite farm has been running for quite a bit, yeah, look at that, we have 67 netherite scrap. I think it's finally time we upgrade to netherite. See, the problem with that, however, is I still am lacking a netherite smithing template, so I'm gonna need to go into the nether. Oh my god. This gives a massive armor boost. That's the thing. Yeah, that's long overdue. I think we're gonna spend the last part of this episode just kind of fixing up the factory district a little bit and making it look a little nicer. It's kind of gotten to the point where I don't think I'm gonna be building that much more in my factory district until I get Create 0.6. I have basically everything that I would want to automate automated. So all that's left now is to do the auto crafting when I can. And when we do eventually expand, I don't think we're going to expand outwards this way. I think we're going to probably expand backwards that way, which means I can kind of close this area off. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to terraform it a little bit. Hopefully by the end we'll have a basically kind of complete factory district.